that thing that they need, I don't know what the name of it is. I don't know what you call it. I don't know how you describe it because it's indescribable. But that thing that happens to Houston when they play Golden State for whatever reason, Jimmy Butler could help solve that, you know. But it's going to have to be, like I was talking about earlier, Chris Paul, James Harden, well, if you got something going on there, that is going to have to be addressed. Because we have seen how Jimmy handles situations, and he will go in and he will tell it to you straight. And you may not like it. And you don't need anything else added. And I'm not saying that Jimmy's going to be a problem or anything. I'm just saying he's going to be honest with you. And if you got two guys going, at each other, and then you got Jimmy being totally honest with everybody, and sometimes people don't know how to, deal with that, then you still got this whole big mess that's still going on, in Houston. But if they get that fixed and you add Jimmy Butler, to that team, I like that piece. I'm not saying that's going to get them over the hump because they always got something going on for Houston where it doesn't work out. But a guy in Jimmy can help with that. Again, I don't know what you call it. I don't know how you describe it. It's just that thing. He has that thing that he could come to that team and possibly provide them an answer for what they're trying to do. Last person on this thing is Harrison Barnes. I completely forgot about Harrison Barnes. I know he was in Golden State. Then he went to Dallas. He got traded to Sacramento, and he's opted out of his deal, which was $25 million. So I think Harrison is looking at that. He can actually get a bigger payday. He's not, in his 30s or anything like that. He's not on the end of his career, and I do think he could probably command $30 million a year from a team. He averaged 14 points with the Sacramento Kings. That was a team. They're young, but they look like they were getting better from previous years. And I think he wants to get back with a contender. And he's shown what he can do with a contender when he was with Golden State. So I think someone will pick him up. Where he will end up, I think he'll mid-level team or a middle of the pack, I should say, team will probably pay him. But I think he will get paid. And I'm hoping this is not taken as a knock, but I think he's going to have to wait a little bit. And I think some teams that was going to eye certain players is not going to get that player. And then they're going to say, well, how about we get Harrison Barnes? So it's going to take them a few days. And I saw Mocha pop up in the chat room. It could be in a city like Miami. They are almost done with Hassan Whiteside, with his contract. And I have to assume that they're going to move on because this would be the last year of his contract. Maybe they could get somebody like Harrison Barnes, to be on that team. So those are just a few guys that was out there in free agency. It's going to be even more. And like I said, when the draft goes down, everything's going to start shifting with free agency. So. But in the Wait a Minute Show chat room, let me go back. Said Galloway was asking relieve Gurley or replace him. I think you got to relieve him. There's no way that you can't replace a guy like Todd Gurley. Even let's say he's giving you 80%. That's still better than a lot of running backs that still get contributing to that team tremendously. I just think that Goff has to go to that next level to take that load off of Todd Gurley. So that's how you can relieve him, is that if Jared Goff doesn't have to depend on the running game as much, then that will help. But no, there is no way you get someone to step in, but you just get someone that end up playing behind Todd Gurley or playing after. You really can't get anyone to replace him. That's like asking to replace Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders or something like that. I'm not saying, that Todd Gurley is on that level, but what I'm saying is that he is a pretty tremendous talent, and you just don't get someone just to replace him. Mo Cheese said, somebody say Lakers. Did I? I don't. Did I say something about the Lakers? I don't remember that, but you know, no, I don't think. If I did, I apologize. No, I mean, I talked about the Lakers on Saturday's show when they got AD. That was enough. I mean, don't be greedy, Mo Cheese. I mean, waitaminuteshow.com Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't be greedy. Mocha Bella said, basically, Mocha Bella is trying to get rid of everybody. She said Waiters need to go, Dragic need to go, everybody needs to go. So Mocha wants a rebuild with this team. That's not going to happen, Mocha. But, and yeah, Mo Cheese, he said, oh, okay, just making sure. Yeah, okay. I appreciate that, bro. You know, I don't know. You almost had me. I was like, did I say something about the Lakers, Lopan?
Indeed.
No, I didn't. Quit egging Mo Cheese on. Stop that. Oh, I didn't say anything about the Lakers, but hey. But who I am going to say something about is Danny Ainge, and general manager for the Boston Celtics. Remember not so long ago, a while back, in between a decade and half a decade, Danny Ainge made this trade to the Brooklyn Nets. And he sent Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Nets for this just ridiculous trade where all these draft picks that the Celtics got back. And Billy King, general manager then of the Nets, he didn't want to make this deal, but the owner wanted him to make this deal, so he actually made the deal. And everyone talked about how crazy Brooklyn was. They've lost their mind. They are going to be set back for years to come because of this deal. You got KG, you got Paul Pierce, a.k.a. Petty PP, and you're just like, what were you thinking? And Boston have all these assets now. And it seems like Boston still has all of these assets, but this story looks like it could be making a change. Where Danny Ainge looked like he had all the pieces and he was the puppet master and everything was going to have to go through Boston. He's turned down a lot of trade offers. Some of them, you can't blame him for, but he made the trade for Kyrie. They signed Gordon Hayward. They drafted Tatum. Remember, everyone was giving them credit because they had the number 1 overall pick and they moved down 2 spots to the number 3, and they let Philadelphia take Markelle Fultz, and Tatum was still there at 3, and everyone was just saying how much of a genius Danny Ainge is, and he still got all these assets, and he can do whatever he wants with it. Now we fast forward to 2019, and we're talking about, could people be clowning Danny Ainge here in the next few weeks? Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Nets just came off a playoff appearance. They had an all-star in D'Angelo Russell. They look like they, are headed in the right direction to improving this team. And Boston right now looks like they're going to lose Kyrie. They pretty much have lost Al Horford. Terry Rozier, I don't know if they totally believe in Terry Rozier to be the starting point guard for this team. Then you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and you don't know what you have in Gordon Hayward. But you still have all these assets. Could the Boston Celtics really have blown this whole opportunity? And maybe they should have traded some of those pieces that they had. Now, I'm not saying, the recent thing was about the Pelicans wanting Jason Tatum for Anthony Davis, and we already know Anthony Davis would have just been a rental. So I'm with Danny Ainge on that. I'm not saying on that. But there's other deals in the past that, people have questioned that he did not pull the trigger on. And it was, I have all these assets. But it seems like he still has all these assets and draft picks. And now you got to make sure, you may have to make sure, I should say, that is your plan. instead of using them to gain a superstar. Could Kawhi come to Boston? I doubt it. But then after that, is there anybody that you really want that you think that's going to put you over the hump to take down a team like Philadelphia, to take down a team like Milwaukee, to take down, if Kawhi stays in Toronto, to take down the champs? So this is, in 6 years, this thing has really, really come around and changed on us. So Boston could be going down and Brooklyn could be going up. How crazy is that? Cedric Galloway said in the Wait a Minute Show chat room, he said Boston had a wheelbarrow full of picks that no one wants. And now it does seem like those picks have been overvalued. And it's just like, I don't want those now. When they were at their, I guess, peak, if you will, where you really could have cashed in on them, Danny Ainge held on to them. Now, some of those teams got better, so those draft picks or those draft position went down. Ron says Lakers get Steve Nash out of retirement. Come on, Ron, stop that. The Lakers got a better, I would say this. Get Lopan out and have him come and play. Indeed. Yeah, Lopan would play for the Lakers. Steve Nash can't give you anything. No. So, Danny Ainge, what you going to do? What are you going to do? Because everyone is watching now. And if you're left with a bunch of potential in your hand in these draft picks, could be the most craziest move of all time. All time. Last thing that we're going to talk about before we get to the Big L, and also I forgot to say this, TDSS 5, October 18th, 19, and 20. Make sure you reserve your spots to come to the ATL and hang out with your boy there. That's going to be fun. We talked about free agency. We talked about Danny Ainge. Let's talk about, this past Saturday. Anthony Davis, again, it's not official to the 6th, and it may not be official until the 30th, depending on, what the Lakers and New Orleans wants to do. But Anthony Davis at some point is going to be a Los Angeles Laker. And everything's great. Everything is all smiles. Everything, Laker fans. Oh, I did bring up the Lakers. Oh, Cheese was right. Damn you. But is Anthony Davis ready for this type of pressure that is coming? He's never had to deal with championship aspirations or championship expectations, I should say. People have wanted him to improve the team and make the playoffs, but going into the situation, playing with a guy like LeBron James and being part of a circus everywhere you go. Because I can tell you right now, when New Orleans was going on the road, it was not sold out. And you're going from that to every game being sold out. You're going to go to people hating you. You're going to go to, a number 1, number 2, number 3 player or whatever in the world, and LeBron James, and playing with that, and he's having the ultimate say-so in a lot of matters. And everyone talks about how if something goes wrong, LeBron never gets blamed. So if that's the case, then dealing with, scaling your game back, and maybe this won't be a problem because he's like, look, I was in New Orleans, so I'll do whatever it is I want, But this is going to be an adjustment for him going to this team, and immediately being expected to have the championship, the figurative championship ring already on his finger. If things go bad, you got to think there's going to be, some talks about what's going on in the locker room, or it's going to be some fake news, if you will, out there about, what's going on with the team. So